is a decent top laner.
It's like a middling top laner.
Yeah, he's
okay.
Middle of the pack here in Korea.
Yeah.
But he has been able to perform on Poppy and Gragas because of the way that teams have to ban against Afreeca.
Yeah.
Especially when Afreeca's on the red side. You have to take that Zed away. It's too much of a threat.
Yeah. Now, speaking about Ixue, his champion pool is going to be something that's going to need to improve if Afreeca Freecs want to keep in this upward trajectory. Because right now, yeah, he's okay. He's really, really good on Gragas and Poppy, but aside from that, he's okay. So looking at the bans coming in, Zed, Twisted Fate banned out by Jin Air, and Lissandra banned by the Afreeca Freecs so far.
And just remember, too, that when we see the Lulu nerfs, Lulu is actually Mickey's most played champion this season, so that's another threat that's off the table. Taking a 0 away from Kuzan is definitely a good idea, and same with the Lissandra.
Right.
So they're really targeting Kuzan's champion pool in this game.
It's interesting. Kuzan definitely a threat, but it's a lot of focus. I mean, all 4 bans so far theoretically targeted towards the mid laners. Obviously, the ZTF targeted over towards Mickey. Those are his best champions lately. There's a Lulu ban. So even though we saw Lulu more or less ignored yesterday, Jin Air's still worried enough about it that they'll ban it out.
So if Jin Air's doing this, they're probably going to first pick Corki. That would be my assumption. Or Callista, obviously, if it's not banned right here. Even though Callista was changed, it's still going to be a high priority pick.
Right.
Still does all the great things that Callista is picked for professionally, which is control objectives.
Well, Callista banned out.
The Nidalee is available. Now, Nidalee was changed a little bit, so she doesn't have the auto reset anymore, and it is a little bit tougher for her to jungle, considering she can't root the monsters any longer. But still going to be a good pick, so her clear time will still be fine. I think you take the Corki here, though, actually, just because that is both a priority pick for Kuzan and Mickey, and is up there in their most played champions this season. And you can deny that, I think you're going to be in a good place. Maybe Mickey would resort to LeBlanc in that case, but Kuzan also a good LeBlanc player.
Yeah, I agree. The Nidalee, despite the nerfs, was still a pretty big priority yesterday on our first day of 6.6. Didn't seem to really stop her from being picked and banned early on, but Jin Air thinking long and hard about this. They'll switch over to the Gangplank, though, instead.
Okay, that's almost certainly going to Trace. Kuzan has played 2 games of GP this season, but Trace, generally the GP player on this team. At least they can flex it. Poppy will be what Ixue gets again. Ixue will always flash the Soraka. I don't know why.
I don't know. Shout out to NA, I guess. Who knows? I mean, top Soraka was a thing way back when. Maybe he's pining.
Dade's mid Soraka, yes, never forget.
Well, there was top Soraka too
Yeah.
as well. He was pining for the good old days of lane Soraka.
Those were terrible days, though.
None of the rest of us are, yeah. Only Ixue. He is the one who pines. What's it going to be, though? I would imagine it's just going to be the Poppy. Makes sense to take that away. Could take the Corki, too. They will. Okay. Also a good pick.
I think you take the Corki just because there's been such a ransacking of Mickey's champion pool in this particular game. Can't play the Azir either because they banned it themselves, so why not just take that flex pick, see what you can do with it. You can always go back to the LeBlanc later, even if that would make you a little bit magic heavy.
Yep.
Varus still available, still going to be a strong pick.
I feel like Varus would be a better one for Kuzan over on the Jin Air side.
Could definitely do that, but then they run into the problem of a lot of attack damage and no real magic damage, but you can mitigate that with perhaps an Elise, but instead they're looking at that LeBlanc, so just trying to take that away. Kuzan is no stranger to this LeBlanc pick. It's in his top 3 most played champions this season, and that's what they're going to take. Alistair and the LeBlanc. So limited sort of wave clear here, though, from Jin Air. Makes me wonder what they're going to take as an AD carry, considering they didn't take Sivir early. They could still take Lucian.
True. Now, Echo did get some buffs, I believe,
Yes.
in 6.6.
He's
pretty
been
decent buffs, but nobody's really picked him up yet.
He's been slowly getting buffed over time.
Yeah. He's like right on the edge right now. We've seen the hovers have been intense lately. The Echo hovers.
Well, Faker's been playing him a lot in solo queue, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of a movement speed boost, and then cooldown reduction on his phase dive, at least in the early level. So it's a lot easier to harass right now because you can get in more often on phase dive, and if you trigger his passive, you do have a little bit more movement speed early on to get away.
Yeah.
It's like Poppy and Sivir, the more likely pickups here, so some pretty good comfort champions for the members of Afreeca.
And it might be a Kindred for Wing this time around. Janair kind of wondering what they're going to take for their jungle and their AD carry.
I think they should definitely take Lucian here. He provides the necessary wave clear that you're looking for. I also think they should take a tank jungler just because they already have LeBlanc, GP, and Lucian. There's no shortage of damage.
Very true.
And playing these fragile compositions, not to say that Janair can't do it, but even the Rocks Tigers have struggled at times playing these kind of full glass cannon comps. They nearly lost.
What about a Gragas here for a jungler? I mean, yeah, Elise is the possibility too, but what do you think of Gragas?
Gragas definitely fine, Elise good. Either's fine with a pick composition with the LeBlanc. Kindred obviously going to keep you alive, and there's not a lot of disruption on the side of Afreeca to cause them to leave the Kindred ultimate, so that's a nice bonus if you're going to take the Kindred here.
Are we actually going to see a Soraka? No, we couldn't. I mean, Janna might be coming back. Well, I mean, she's already back in NA, right?
Well, she was nerfed, so probably not.
She might come to Korea eventually.
I think it's even less likely now that she's been nerfed that she's coming back, Noah.
Where there's a gorilla, there's a way.
That's true. I've heard that sentence a lot.
I'd love to see the
life.
Blitzcrank, but yeah, have you really? Wow. When you're trying to like break through a window at a zoo, you're like, I wish I had a gorilla right now. That'd be great. Well, it just makes me feel bad when people hover Blitzcrank because he used to be so good. Now he's not.
I don't know if he was ever so good.
He was so good.
He was situationally good.
We casted Mad Life's Blitzcrank's games
when
back
he was
in
situationally good.
Man.
There's the problem.
Oh, so sad. I didn't get my hopes up this time, though. I just didn't believe it from the moment. I've become too jaded.
Well, Afreeca got a strong front line for their 3 damage dealers. It's pretty standard composition. We'll see what Lyra can do. Lyra's been really good in the current jungle meta, though. And Winged, a player who has been quite solid. He's gotten a lot of first bloods in these games. He's at 49% contribution to first blood in the games that he plays in, which is a really solid stat. Puts him at number 2 in the league overall. And one thing about Janair is that they're really, really good at getting dragons. Right now, they're number 1 in first dragon out of all teams in the league. They get it 2/3 of the time. And they also have the best dragon control overall in the league in that they get 58% of the dragons in their games. So 5th dragon stacking, definitely something you want to watch out for Janair, especially with how conservatively they play the late game.
Yeah, and how late they play the game in
general.
general.
But you can't fault their strategy. If they are so good at controlling dragon and they can reliably get to 5 stacks, then they should absolutely play this way because it's the kind of it's the best way to win the game. If you're not going to throw between dragon number 1 and dragon number 5, you might as well just wait for 5th dragon and really, really make sure that you seal the game.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, but you could make it a little bit more exciting. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be good anyway. Janair versus Afreeca Freecs. The playoff race continues. Let's get in the game.
Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you. Holding hands.
All right, welcome to Summoner's Rift for our first match of the day. Janair Green Wings taking on the Afreeca Freecs. There were some cheers. It was a meager cheer, but it was there.
A meager cheer for the Freaks. They deserve more than that with how many games they've been winning recently.
I know, right? You'd think they'd have more fans coming to the studio.
A robust cheer, perhaps.
Yeah, a hearty cheer. Give a hearty cheer for the Freaks. Well, there's one now. There's one now.
Looking at the Freaks. All right, well.
Don't stare at the Freaks, please. It's very rude.
Come on, they asked me to watch this freak show. This is a freak show I'm paid to cast.
I know. It's pretty great when you think about it. Well, those Freaks creeping around the mid lane.
Looks like we'll see a called lane swap here. Probably Snowflare and Songyu not too interested in facing off against Lucian in the lane, but they are going to be a little bit delayed, and Kuzan trading with Mickey.
Trading a lot with Mickey. Getting the of damage done though. Mickey with that corrupting potion to start off with.
Not going to be using it just yet, and Freecs going to be hunting around in the jungle. They were seen on the entrance to the ward, but this is going to mean that Pilot and Che are going to win the minion race here, hitting that level 2 just a little bit faster, as it was a delayed invade from Sanyan and Snowflower. Now they have to deal with that problem too. Not something that they wanted to be facing exactly at this point in time. So we'll see if Lyra can try and get a gank and affect that top lane.
Yeah, so no.
Meanwhile, this is a really good situation for Jin Air because they have winning lanes in the side lanes right now. Gangplank does very well against Poppy early. You can't really stop him from farming, so you can't curtail his growth, and he trades quite well against melee champions because of his passive and the fact that he doesn't have to use Parlay to trigger it. He can just walk up to you and auto you when you try and CS. So it's going to be a good time for Trace down there.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much everything that Jin Air wants at the beginning of this game. Just standard lanes, farming up, eventually doing dragons. And you can see Nidalee gets a little bit, feels like she gets a little bit lower in the jungle now.
Well, yeah, when you don't have that root
Yeah.
on the monsters anymore, it is going to cause you to take more damage in the jungle. But she still has her self-heal, and
It's not bad.
she's still going to be pretty speedy when it comes to clearing out these camps.
Yep.
We can see about a camp ahead already, and going to try and take out this Scuttle Crab, deny the first Kindred mark. We're doing a little bit of prowling around in the enemy jungle, looking like, ooh, want to go for an early gank onto Trace.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Obviously, all the summoners up right now. Here comes Lyra from behind, though. An early gank onto Trace. W pop by Ixu's going to fling Trace back. Trace still has that flash. Ixu used his. There we go. But Trace in a lot of trouble now. Can they finish him off? Oh, the spear misses. Lyra coming in. Flashes for the kill. There's first blood. For Afreeca, they had to use a little bit more than I think they wanted to there, but they got it.
Yeah, they had to use both of their flashes in exchange for only one. Trace is just going to TP back in anyway, so
Yep.
it's a pretty solid gank right there. Winged is just going to do some counter jungling as soon as he checks and sees whether they're going to recall or not. And once Trace gets back into lane, and it's just a little bit safer. Oh, they're going to come for a gank immediately, actually. Winged.
Maybe Ixu with no flash is kind of vulnerable. Trace trying to bait him in there. Winged could come from the side, but Ixu's playing it smart for the moment. Not going up too far. And the recall comes in. Trace really wants to fight with Ixu. Yeah, I think Ixu knows what's up. They haven't seen Winged in a while, so he's got to play safe.
Clever. That was could have been pretty disastrous there for Ixu, but ends up just backing off as he runs through all the charges on his potion and isn't interested in trading anymore. But even though they got the kill, Trace still starting out with a pretty nice CS advantage in the lane, and that's going to be the real tricky part, I think, is just keeping Gangplank down. It doesn't actually matter if you kill him as long as he has the TP up. He's still going to maintain that CS edge. He's still going to maintain that trading edge, even though only had the money to pick up the Sapphire Crystal, and of course the Ruby Crystal and Cloth Armor will be helping against those trades now that Ixu is right back in lane.
Whoa. Uh-oh, Kuzan passive pop. He's going to go in, actually, because Winged is traveling to the mid lane anyway. That was interesting. Kuzan has to recall now. Close call. Yeah, Lyra's been making a difference in the jungle on that Nidalee. Stealing away the Gromp now, getting that first blood. Pretty good start for him.
And Jin Air, when we get to, I mean, they're going to want to make picks, or they're going to want to kite with this composition. Alistar is really their only form of engage, and they want people to walk into them, thanks to the Kindred ultimate and the GP barrels. So Jin Air looking to set up around these objectives and really control them. Afreeca running more of a poke composition. They are a little bit light on the engage too, but at least they have Poppy and the Sivir ult to get in there. We should see some nice fighting around the dragon in this particular game.
You know what I don't understand is how does Ghost Gangplank light his Ghost sword on fire?
He's not a ghost, we discussed this.
What is he then?
He's
He's
a,
like a zombie?
he's a Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's a
just
Scooby-Doo.
pretending to be a ghost.
Exactly.
Right. I remember now.
Because he leaves a body, and ghosts
Yeah.
don't leave bodies on the ground when they die. So
That's
obviously
true.
he's a guy in a ghost costume.
You're right. I forgot about all this.
He's basically a Scooby-Doo villain.
Thanks for refreshing my memory.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, then it makes it even stranger because why would you give away that you're not a real ghost by lighting your sword on fire? You have to be like, it's magic fire. Ooh. I don't believe you, Gangplank.
Well, nobody believes him anymore. His body, we have all the evidence we need. We took it to the coroner, confirmed not a ghost.
Yep. You just take off the mask and it's just him, but not green.
Gangplank, a pirate dressing up as a ghost pirate.
It's really just kind of like the bluish green man group of Gangplank, you know? See, he's kind of like turquoise, really. It's not really green or blue. It's kind of in the middle. Kind of the green of a sea filled with brown pirates.
Yeah, but he should
Did
just...
that get too dark?
No.
Okay, good.
The sea is already full of drowned pirates.
That's,
so,
that's true.
That's just a fact.
Yep. Think about that time the next time you go swimming.
Think about that the next time you choose to engage in piracy, Doa. Would you like to be dead at the bottom of the sea? Don't be a pirate.
But I just never get caught, obviously. See, pirates are kind of like ninjas, where the best ones, people don't know that they even are that.
Oh, Lyra got the blue buff.
Oh, come on, Lyra. He's just like, sorry guys, this Nidalee after the patch is just so weak, I just needed the blue.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows you're a pirate if you're a pirate, though, because that's the entire point of piracy. You can't really hide being a pirate because you need to, like, take their ship and stuff.
Hey, well, if you leave no survivors,
but
then they don't know. Kuzan coming in for some damage onto Mickey.
You still have to get rid of the ship.
Just scuttle it. Sink it
what's
to Davy Jones' locker.
Where's your plunder then, Noah?
Well, you put it on your ship. You take the plunder from their ship, you put it on your ship, then you sink their ship.
No, but see, Noah, the problem...
Anyone who won't join you anyway.
The problem is you still end up with goods that have to be fenced, so everyone's going to know you're a pirate.
Well...
If you're a ninja, you're just trying to kill people and leave no trace. No one's going to know who did that.
I suppose. Ninjas don't
You're
steal
not going to, like,
yeah.
kill somebody and auction off their body afterwards. Then everyone would know who the ninjas were, too.
Ninja goes back to a chest of... with a chest of valuables from his latest assassination. His boss is like, come on, man.
Leave no trace.
We're supposed to be mysterious. Oh, well.
Well, Lyra doing a great job on this Nidalee of counter jungling and getting those deep wards in. Highly successful so far.
Not doing a very good job of giving blue buff to his mid laner, though.
It's okay. It's just solo dragon right now. He needs blue buff. You know, the blue buff is just helping him solo dragon, really.
That's why he took it. It was all part of the plan. Mickey just needed to help him out.
Now that everybody's swapped down to the bottom side of the map, they're going to be quite happy to see this is going to be their first dragon of the game.
Should be.
Again, on average, we see Janair take the first dragon in 2 out of 3 games, so a little bit unusual to see Janair not able to control that first objective, but with the way that Lyra's been getting the vision in, he's been doing an excellent job of keeping track of Kuzan. They also knew that the blue buff timer had just come up, and we saw the LeBlanc head over to the blue buff, so perfect time to go ahead and solo that dragon. Great instincts from the Afreeca Freecs. They even had the lane pushed up, so they get a little bit of help from Songyun and Snowflower. Solid early game so far for Afreeca.
Well, we saw that graphic too. They do have that 60% win rate after getting first dragon. It is nice. Ixu with some action on the Trace. Trace just drops his ultimate. Ixu on the run right now. Oh, he got so low. But Trace just a little bit afraid to follow him into the river.
And this is why. He knows Mickey is coming.
That's right.
And
Mickey is here.
He's going to run away from this one.
Just gives him the big one, and then he backs away.
That's what Corki does. He just gives you the big one and leaves.
That's right. Very rude.
It's not very considerate.
No. Don't follow Corky's example. He's not a good person. Yordle, whatever he is.
Have you noticed that Yordles are come in really different sizes?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're diverse, just like people, Monty.
No, they vary much more in size than people do.
Well, do they?
Look how small Corky is. Think about that. Look at him, and then look at Poppy. All right,
man.
He is tiny. He's like half the size that Poppy is.
But how big are their heads? Because I feel like the head is a great equalizer.
Look how big he is. He's tiny. And then Poppy is just massive. I mean, her head is probably the size of Corky.
Well, you know what I've discovered, though, is that Yordles are not what you think they are. They are part machine, part biological organism. So that plane is actually part of Corky's body.
You mean the manatee?
Yeah, that manatee is part of Corky's body. We already established this, too, that it's not a real manatee. It's a stuffed manatee.
Is he some sort of manotar?
Flash pulverize on Mickey, thrown right back into Kuzan. Kuzan gets exhausted immediately. Mickey trying to get away, winged, not going to let him. Che gets the kill in the end, as he should. He did all the work there.
Wow, they used 2 ignites right there. That was a bit sloppy. Didn't communicate that before. And Afreeca just going to go ahead and take a turret in response. So Lyra making the smart call, and Afreeca actually getting ahead.
Yeah.
As a result of that little trade. Trace is going to try and put some damage and pressure onto the top side, but not going to be too much. Lyra continues ravaging the jungle of Wing.
Talk about rude. You know, the most impressive thing about Gangplank is that he's ambidextrous. He can use that sword with his left hand and then shoot
That actually
his
is
gun with
pretty
his right
impressive.
hand. I know, right?
I definitely couldn't do that.
Me neither. If I had a sword in my left hand, I kind of like flail around awkwardly. Winged could be in a little bit of trouble. Dodges a Q though from Snowflower. Passive begins to stack, but he'll get back into his own jungle. No problem. Looks like it might be time to take out the Rift Herald if they decide.
I don't know if this is a good
No,
idea
okay.
for Afreeca. Everybody is coming up that direction from Jinair. Even Pilot wants to move up to this top side of the map right now. Trace cleaning up the turret, but they are just going to swap back into the dual lane with Lucian.
So, at what point in the game do the Jinair Green Wings need to make something happen?
I mean, they're going to be pretty strong in the late game, obviously, with this GP. I'm just more concerned with their ability to team fight with no tank when Alistar's ultimate is down and how well they can use the Kindred. But this is one of those games where Kindred is even more effective than usual. They don't have an Alistar, a Gragas, a Trundle, anything that can push people off the Kindred ultimate. And Afreeca have, I would say, somewhat limited forms of engage, so they may not exactly want to get right on top of that Kindred ultimate with champions like Nidalee and Corki, although Nidalee can output a great deal of damage at low range in that Cougar form, but still going to be, I think, taking a little bit of a risk that you get chunked down pretty low, and Jinair can body block a lot of that or punt people off of it with Che if he uses his headbutt properly.
True. Trace just trying to farm up down the bot lane. He's behind in CS now, though. Really, Afreeca kind of ahead in everything at the moment.
Yeah, he looks like Poppy's been doing a really good job handling him.
Kuzan getting ganked. Here comes Lyra. Spear dodged. A lot of damage coming in, though, but it doesn't look like Mickey's going to find the finishing blow.
But Lyra is just a turret-killing machine right now. Mickey playing a bit cautiously as the Kindred comes in from the side, just doing a nice job zoning Winged out. But he's got the Sheen, and this may mean another turret down in favor of the Afreeca Freecs, as their map pressure has just been better in this early game.
Could be. GPL has to be used just to keep Afreeca Freecs away.
Smart use of that ult, though. Go ahead and drop it. You're frozen at your tier 2 anyway. And this means that Afreeca has to have some way to respond to this, because Poppy up there trying to be annoying Ixu going after, he got the red buff right there.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, Jinair might have a strong late game, but they need to kind of stop the pressure at some point, don't they? Otherwise, they're going to be playing that late game out of their base.
And this is the problem with their composition. We talked about the relatively low wave clear in the early game. I mean, you have to commit. You can't commit with a Corki with a package and a blue buff right there. You just have to lose the turret. So they delayed it with the GP ult, but couldn't make much of it. And LeBlanc having to go in to that melee range does present a threat. You take a lot of damage if you try and clear out minion waves with your distortion.
Yeah. Dragon is up now, and it looks like Afreeca Freecs are in a great position to take that second one. So Jinair not even really able to rely on that dragon pressure that they usually have in a lot of their games.
It's okay. They can still rely on playing for the ultra late game.
Oh, yes.
To de-aggro the Herald. Hop over the wall and take it. Looks like the buff will go over to Wings.
Okay. Second dragon taken by the Afreeca Freecs. Songyun pushes up that bottom lane. With his teammates taking dragon, he was pretty safe to do that.
It's just going to be farming next to the turret for a GP. Spell shield on that, and Lyra's doing the right thing. Lyra's been having some great pathing this game, just using that heal, increasing the attack speed of the champions around it, just helping tear through these turrets. He is absolutely abusing the low wave clear Jinair.
Here comes a gank onto Ixu up in the top lane, pushes Pilot away. He's going to take a lot of damage, though. Doesn't use that ult quite yet. He knows he's not going to get away from this one, and a pretty easy dive up in the top lane. Afreeca Freecs moving up, though. They take out that bottom tier 2.
Yeah, but
still a good trade.
Yeah, still it's about even, obviously, when you consider that kill, but Afreeca's been putting the pressure in all the right places on the map this game. They forced some unfavorable trades, and that's gotten them a gold lead. Janair prioritizing some of these kills over saving their turrets, and LeBlanc really isn't rolling in a way where it's going to be much of a threat to a lot of the members of the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, he's just got that one assist, and that's it. I mean, if you want LeBlanc to start snowballing and tearing people up, you really need a lot of kills. Or at least 2 or 3 by this point.
I mean, that would 2 or 3 by 15 minutes would be quite a lot.
Yeah.
But in any case, the Maw of Malmortius in the late game is what you really have to worry about. And we've seen Mickey's LeBlanc get stopped very effectively by a lot of purchases of those items. You know, once you get Aegis, once you get the Maws down or the Abyssal Scepters, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for Kuzan to actually be contributing to team fights in a meaningful way. And Afreeca just going to respond with another turret, but that'll be answered on the opposite side of the map as they play very aggressively. But Pilot is here. Mickey actually very low.
Kuzan goes back in, gets the kill. Nice duel there between Kuzan and Mickey.
That was actually a bit of a misplay from Kuzan. He actually could have gotten that without using his flash. He hesitated there for a moment, even though he had the ignite up and got him low. He seemed like he was surprised by the amount of damage that he was doing himself. Mickey's like, all right, I think it's time for a Hex Drinker now, and he would be right.
Good idea, yeah. Maybe you want to start not having to worry about that magic damage. Meanwhile, the bottom tier 2 taken by Janair, so they are starting to strike back here a little bit. They're still down 2 dragons, but they've more or less caught up in gold by now.
Yeah, without Mickey to hold that center of the map and threaten to come down into the bottom side, a lot easier for Janair to make the decision to come down and take a tier 2. They've now just about equalized that gold score. So things looking up for Janair after a bit of a rough start. And we're going to take a look at that again. So Kuzan's going to come in. Mickey's trying to recall. Remember, Mickey has no mana right now. Yeah. So just comes back in. And also flashed at the, I don't know why he flashed at the end of that.
I think he thought there was a rocket coming out, maybe?
I don't think the rocket would have killed him, but
I don't know.
He has an
pretty
abyssal.
low.
He has an abyssal scepter. The odds of that rocket killing him are not good. Maybe he was afraid that Lyra could possibly come in and finish it up.
Could be.
Yeah. Mickey just getting cocky. He didn't even use his flash. Could have gotten out of that one. Should he have wanted? So just a misplay there from Mickey.
Yeah. And so the Afreeca Freecs continuing to try to put pressure onto the map. Winged able to get that Rift Sculler. But, you know, it seems like Janair's doing okay now. I mean, they've come back with 3 turrets to 4, gotten some kills. Winged is getting away without dying.
Yeah, Wing's getting very close to that Devour. He's at 26 out of 30 stacks at the moment. So a couple of minutes, and he should have that nice and complete. Rylai's second on Lyra is very interesting. I guess he needs the HP to deal with some of the burst damage from LeBlanc and GP that could be coming out. And he'll be able to kite more effectively, but usually we'd see a Rod of Ages or something like that onto a jungle Italy, so I'm curious how he's going to play this one out.
So Trace looking like he wants to flank with the barrels here. And Che going in, there's the engage. Songyun locked up just a little bit. He's going to get out with the cleanse. Ixu flashing in onto Winged. They're going to get that kill onto Kindred first off. Trace, though, chasing away Snowflower and Ixu. I don't think this is a fight that Janair can really pursue, though, and it doesn't look like they think so either.
That was actually really well executed by the Freaks because they locked down Wing before he could even use Lamb's Respite. They did get chunked out, they did get paid, they did pay for it a little bit, but mispositioning there from Wing right against the wall, setting up the chain CC that they needed. And Janair, even though they get engaged on, and Songyun actually gets hit with a pulve, didn't use his spell shield properly. There's not a lot of follow-up, and Afreeca come out with another kill when the dust settles. We'll take a look at that again. Now watch this. Che is just going to, I mean, you got to spell shield that. Basically, he's going to come in without even using flash. But Winged here gets knocked around by that Braum passive, stuck, and then Ixu just ulting the follow-up right out of the team fight.
Yeah, Trace knows he can't chase through that brush either. So that's a fight. That goes in the Afreeca Freecs' favor. Wow, there's a lot of gold for Songyun. What do you think makes those blades bounce? Because like a sharp blade like that, you can't simultaneously cut things and bounce off of things. It makes no sense.
You're right, it really doesn't.
It's not a boomerang.
Boomerangs don't bounce off things either.
Well, no, but I mean, they come back to you if they don't hit anything.
That's true. If they don't hit anything.
Right. But yeah, you cannot simultaneously cut and bounce off of something. Afreeca Freecs going for the third dragon of the game. Jin Air wants to stop it. And I don't know. Okay, they're going to go in. Can they get the dragon? Trying to steal it away, but no. Lyra takes it. Winged in the pit, has to flash away. The package brought to the party by Mickey. Meanwhile, Afreeca trying to come over the wall for more fighting. Mickey going really deep. Ixu's right there, though, so he should be safe from Trace. Meanwhile, Wing finally goes down. A double kill for Mickey. Kuzan already on the run, down at the bottom of the screen. And Jin Air losing another team fight.
Yeah, well, they went in for that. It looked like Kuzan was going in for poke, but Wing just vaulted right over that wall and then had to flash out of the pit. Now, Afreeca have their sights set on this Baron. As we take a look at this replay, I mean, this is just discoordination, discoordinated attack.
Discoordination.
Uncoordination?
It's malcoordination. Either way, it's not good for Jin Air.
Yeah, and Mickey, look, Ixu gets here before Trace. Trace comes in on the backside. The Kindred ult comes in way too late and actually does more harm than good.
Well, speaking of more harm than good, Baron taken by Afreeca Freecs, but Kuzan does manage to find a kill on Snowflower.
Surprised they didn't actually go in harder right there because they had the GP. No cannon barrage, though, because it was used in that last team fight. So now Afreeca coming out with a really big advantage in this game. But yes, lack of coordination, we'll call it that. I'm sure there is an actual word for that, whether it's miscoordination or uncoordination, I don't know. Uncoordinated
I think
is
it's uncoordinated is, yeah.
But different part of speech.
So. Discoordination was the name of my metal band in college.
Discoordination?
Discoordination.
How about just discoordination? There you go.
Yeah, one of those two. I'm sure that's the name of a documentary by Bill Maher or something, though.
Winged one stack away from Isaiah Devourer.
Yep.
But yes.
So close.
They looked like they were confused as to whether they were actually just trying to steal the dragon or whether they were committing to a team fight around it. And Afreeca just piles over the back of the Dragon Ball. And Trace not able to get there faster than Ixu. Now they have a TP advantage too, the Afreeca Freecs.
Still a close game. Kuzan coming in, trying to do some damage to Snowflower. And there's Che right there. Do they want to fight the Sivir ult used? I don't think so. Jin Air already on the run. Ixu teleports in from behind. They've got Wing trapped. Kuzan just trying to do some parting damage on his way out. It looks like they might catch Che as well. That cow is hamburger. He's not actually made of ham. Ever think about that? Strange. Afreeca Freecs going after the inhibitor turret though, and this looks like it could be kind of the beginning of the end.
It may in fact just be the end, though.
I think so.
We'll see how fast they want to push this.
Well, they've got the Baron buff. Trace, Pilot's still left, but man, look at the damage coming out of Mickey, though. Corki has reached critical mass. Oh, GPL dropped. They're going to have to back away for the moment. And this can buy enough time for Jin Air to maybe delay this game a little bit more. Yep, looks like it will for now, but it was nearly over.
I don't know what's going on with Jin Air. They just don't look in sync these days. They didn't look in sync with Samsung. They were botching a lot of their engages. Here, they don't seem to be playing their team composition properly. Again, they have limited engage. They haven't really gone for the picks with the LeBlanc. Instead, they've been sloppily team fighting, and I just don't think that a team composition that requires this much team fighting coordination, because you have to play around Alistar ult and Kindred ult so well in order to win, that it's really right for Jin Air right now. I like the Kuzan just goes in on Lissandra, ults himself, and then Songyun dances around on Kalista win that they had versus Samsung. But I think Jin Air really has to go back to the drawing board at this stage with a lot of these compositions, because I feel like they're overreaching based on their current performance.
Yeah, I mean, it's been weird. They were good, and then they were bad, and they're not in sync now. But I wish they'd stop playing games with my heart. Quit playing games with my heart. I messed it up. It's quit playing games with my heart.
That was going to be so good.
I know.
Damn it, Noah.
Oh, retiring. Bye.
Your in-sync meme game is off, so
I'm just
that's actually the first sign of the decline of a caster. Did you know that?
The in-sync meme game? I never knew that. Terrifying.
You know that's it's actually on the list of signs that you should retire as a caster. You mess up an in-sync,
can't properly quote in-sync.
An in-sync reference, like
I think
you're done
right.
after that.
Is there any
it's all
way I can get
downhill.
it? What's this treatment for that? I don't want to know.
I'll tell you, it's listening to a lot of in-sync.
I don't know if I can do that. I might just have to say bye, bye, bye.
Sometimes the treatment is actually worse than the cure, Noah.
This is definitely one of those times. Absolutely one of those times. Could be worse. Might have to listen to O-Town.
I don't know if that's worse.
It's kind of like the lesser of two evils. All right, another turret goes down. Afreeca Freecs just closing this one out. Not a lot that Janair appears to be able to do.
Sure isn't, Noah. There sure isn't.
It's a tough thing to watch. The decline of Janair. GPL drop. This is their last chance. They got to fight this. Going in, Pilot finds Lyra, but doesn't find enough damage. Janair plane has run out of gas and is slowly circling down to oblivion.
Slowly, huh?
Yep.
I mean, we're 27 minutes. It seems to be happening pretty quickly.
Janair doesn't really do anything fast, though. A fast team would be done already.
Yeah, they don't even die fast.
No.
Look at this. They only lost one inhibitor on that Baron push, and certainly the gold lead is absolutely huge right now. There's a dragon coming up in 7 seconds, but honestly, this is a mistake by
okay.
Afreeca. They didn't go back fast enough to actually get the dragon. They tried too hard for the inhib, and that means that they're not going to have a quick 5 dragon stacks. They actually can't pile into the pit fast enough to prevent Janair from doing this. So Janair gets a little bit of a lease on life right now.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean,
they stopped him from taking the inhib. The other inhib's going to come back up in a couple
Hello,
minutes.
package
Mickey?
has arrived.
What?
Exhaust on the wing. What is Mickey doing? No, Mickey.
He's thrown games before by doing things like that.
That was a pretty epic throw there. That was, wow. That was...
Special delivery.
I guess so.
It's free kills.
I think Dongchun's going to die. It's, we're losing our Korean casters here. They can't handle this.
Wow, Afreeca, do not siege.
I don't know. Well, it's a 4v5. They're like, yeah, it's time to siege, man. Oh, here comes
What
Shay.
are they doing?
I don't know, man, but Winged is going in for some more Kindred damage. Pilot Kuzan right there. Afreeca Freecs so tanky enough they can still take the turret. Jinair on the run. I guess they can just win a 4v5. Mickey's still dead, by the way. There goes Pilot, and weirdly enough,
wow,
I guess this is going to be the end of the game. And yep, Mixu just wrecking people down at the bottom. Songyun trying to back away. Winged is like it's do or die time. Looks like it's mostly die though. There goes Trace, the pirate. I don't know.
I was like Mickey coming out of the bases. They went,
I mean, I'm back, guys. I helped.
Honestly, that play right there was sort of Afreeca's most recent history in a microcosm. They have been winning kind of without Mickey even being around.
I don't.
Whether Mickey is like split pushing on Lulu and like Songyun's like hard carrying them with Lucian in 4v5 Baron fights. When Mickey can split push, Mickey is actually good at judging pressure and taking down objectives. Sometimes, though, you really wonder about when and where he decides to appear on the map.
You know, sometimes he just takes the package randomly deep into the enemy jungle without his team anywhere nearby.
You remember his TP plays at the beginning of the season.
Sure.
You remember when he would like show up in lane on Victor with like 100 HP and just die for no reason?
I don't know. Mickey time. It's Mickey time. That's what we call that. Well, despite Mickey's best efforts, Afreeca Freecs take game 1. And we'll see. We'll see if he can throw a little bit harder in game 2. It just wasn't enough this time, Mickey. Sorry. It was close.
I'm really impressed that they were still able to take that. But they were so far ahead in gold, and Ixu was so tanky by that point.
Yeah.
They had good follow-up. Lyra, great game. Great game from Lyra.
Yeah.
I really like how he prioritized those turrets and just played the counter jungling and pressure game extremely well.
That's right. So we'll be back with game number 2 right